Welcome to part 7 of this helicopter robot tutorial series. If you haven't watched the other parts, you can check out the tutorial playlist linked in the description. So in this part, we're going to be posing the robot, setting up some lighting and a camera, and then rendering and compositing an image to get a nice image of our robot. Before we start this part, I wanted to let you know about a really great render farm service for Blender. BlenderGrid is an easy to use render farm specifically designed for Blender. I've used the service and I highly recommend it. Start by uploading your Blender file or a zip file with the Blender file and textures. You can then check over the render settings on the website and make any changes. BlenderGrid will calculate the cost before you start rendering. It will also render some preview frames that you can check over to make sure everything is rendering properly before you start the render. You can even choose when you want the render to finish if you're on a tight deadline. Once it finishes, just download the files and compile the frames in a video editor. You can find my full review video linked in the description, and if you use my affiliate link to sign up, you can get $20 off your first cloud render. So let's now add in a sky background. So to add in the sky background, I'm going to go here to the shading workspace, and then what I'm going to do here in the shading is click on the object and change it to world so we can edit the world nodes. What I'm now going to do is go to the add menu and search for environment texture node. Let's drop this here, and then we're going to open a texture. So I'm going to go to the folder where I have all the different textures and resources that I'm using for the tutorial, and if you don't have the resources, then you can get these all completely free with the links in the video description, or if you purchase the tutorial project files, then you'll get a folder with all the textures and resources that you'll need. So I'm going to first be opening up the Autumn Field Pure Sky, so again, link is in the description. This is from polyhaven.com, and I'm downloading the 1K HDR version, so I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to put the Pure Sky into the color. So I'm now going to hold down the Z button and move my mouse into the rendered view, and I'm using the Eevee rendering engine in this tutorial, but if you want to use cycles, you definitely could do that. Now what I want to do is kind of have this background kind of a little bit dark and a bit blurred and not have it quite so blue. So it's just going to be kind of like a subtle gradient. That's basically why I'm using the Pure Sky. So what I'm going to do is go to the add menu, and I'm going to search for a hue saturation value and put this in between the Pure Sky and the background. So just stick it there. And now what I can do is take the saturation and I can turn it down. So I'm going to turn the saturation to like a 0.4. So that way it is still slightly blue, but it's mostly gray. Then I'm going to turn the value down to like a 0.8. And then here on the strength, I'm going to turn the strength down to like a 0.06. So now you can see we kind of get like a bit of a gradient there. So it's kind of a little bit like lighter right here on the horizon and then gets darker. So I think it adds a pretty nice effect. But the problem with this is there's not actually lighting the scene, it's really dark. So what I'm going to do is select the Pure Sky and hit Shift D to duplicate it and drop it up here. And then we're going to click on this file icon to add a new texture. So this time I'm going to go back to my resources folder with the textures, and I'm going to add this round platform, HDRI. So again, you can download this completely free with the link in the description on polyhaven.com, and I'm downloading the 1K HDR version. So I'm just going to open this up. Then what I'm going to do is hit Shift D to duplicate the background, and I'm going to put the round platform into the color. And then here on the background, I'm going to turn the strength to like a 0.8 so it's a bit stronger. So just a 0.8. Now what I can do is put the background to the surface, and you can see this is going to give us some pretty nice lighting. So I definitely like how the lighting is looking, but I want this to be the preview background, but this to be the lighting background. So what we're going to do is go to the add menu, and we're going to search for a mix shader and drop it in between these two backgrounds. So just drop it here. And then the other background, this can go into the bottom shader. Now, right now we're just blending between both of them. And so basically what I want to do is I want to make so the camera can preview this background, but the scene views this background for the lighting. So to do that, we're going to search for the light path node. We'll add the light path node, and this has a bunch of different values, but the only one that we want to use is the is_cam array. So we're going to put the is_cam array into the factor, and so this way you can see that the scene is actually being lit by the first HDRI. So it actually looks pretty bright, and there's some nice lighting on the robot. But the background world is viewing this background. So we can see the Pure Sky, but it's actually lighting using the round platform. Now this light path node is really big, so I'm going to hit Control H, and Control H is going to minimize it, and then we'll just drag it down here to make it smaller, something like that. So now let's go back here to the layout, and we're going to pose the robot. But first let's add a camera. So I'll hit Shift A for the add menu, and I'm just going to add a camera, and I'll just move my view to kind of about here, and I'll hit Control Alt Numpad 0. So Control Alt Numpad 0 is going to bring the camera to my view. And then if you want to zoom it in and out, you can select the camera and you can hit G to grab, and then you can click down with your middle mouse wheel to move the camera in and out, and I'll just bring it back a little bit. So I'm now going to pose the robot. So I'm going to select the controller and I'll rotate it like this, Now what I want to do is kind of pose the legs because I want to make the legs up a bit because he's kind of flying in the air. So I'm going to select the hips and rotate them up. Then I'm going to select the upper legs and kind of rotate it back a bit. And then I can select these two lower legs and move that up a bit. And then I can select the feet and rotate it down a little bit. All right, and that's the pose that I'm kind of thinking that he's going to be in when he's flying. That looks pretty cool. Let's hit the 0 to go back into the camera view. We could also like rotate the guns. So if you shift select the guns, you could maybe rotate them down a little bit. That looks pretty cool. And just kind of move this around. Maybe I'll move it slightly towards the camera. You can also double tap the R key, and double tapping the R key is going to activate the trackball rotation. You can just kind of rotate that around. All right, let's hold down the Z button and go into the rendered view to see how that's looking. And then I also like to add a camera boundary. So in the rendered view, you can hit Control B and you can drag a box around the camera and let go. And that way it's only going to render what the camera can see. So it just makes the scene look a bit nicer. It kind of crops the image. Now I also don't really want to be able to see the grid. So if you click here on the overlays, you can turn off the grid and the floor and the X and the Y. So it just looks a little bit nicer. Now the scene is definitely kind of dark, so let's add some lights. So I'll hit Shift A for the add menu, and I'm going to go to light and add an area light. Let's move the area light over, and I can rotate the area light, and I'm just going to put it kind of behind the helicopter robot, and I'll also scale it up a bit. Let's hit the 0 on the numpad to go into the camera view. You can also double tap the R key to use the trackball rotation. And now let's click over here to go to the object data properties, and I'll just drag this power up to make it quite a bit brighter. So maybe make it around like 300 or 400, like that. And then what I'm going to do is hit Shift D to duplicate and move this light over here, and we can rotate the light over a bit like that. All right, so we have another rim light. So the rim lights are going to kind of make these highlights here on the edges, and it just kind of pops the character out from the background. And I definitely like how that looks with some nice rim lights. Now I'm going to go to the add menu, and I'm going to add a spotlight because I think a spotlight will look really cool. So let's rotate the spotlight and kind of move it up here. All right, like that. And then I can drag the power up. So maybe like a 300 or a 400, something like that, maybe even a little bit higher. So it's pretty bright. And I'll go into the camera view. And this light definitely isn't bright enough, so I'm going to make it like a 5000. So it's quite a bit more bright. And if you want to see how the light looks with and without the light, what you can do is press H and then Alt H and then H and then Alt H. So that's going to hide it and unhide it. So you can just kind of rotate the light, see what looks good. Maybe I'll bring it forward a little bit and rotate over like that. I also might want to turn the radius up just a little bit, and the radius is going to make the light a little bit softer because the light is coming out from more areas. And then there's also the beam shape, so you can like bring the beam shape angle up so that that spotlight is a little bit larger. Now I still don't like how bright it is. It still just isn't quite bright enough, so I can just drag this exposure level, and this exposure is going to make it brighter but a lot faster. So it's a lot less sensitive. So I'm going to make it quite a bit brighter like that, just so we get some nice light highlights there on kind of the front of the robot. And maybe I'll select the robot again and kind of rotate him a little bit so he's a little bit more forward. You could even scale it up if you want to. So now what I want to do is actually animate the rotor blade spinning. And why I'm doing that is so that the final render will actually have motion blur. Because right now if I hit the F12 button, F12 is going to render the image so we can see what it's looking like. So that's looking pretty cool, but it doesn't actually look like the helicopter blades are spinning. So I'll hit the escape key. So let's just bring up the timeline. I just have the timeline right down here. And what we're going to do is a basic animation. So I'm going to make sure I'm on frame 1, and I'm going to just select the rotor blades. And I'm going to go over here to the object properties, and I'm going to open up transform. So you can see I can rotate this like this on the Z axis. So I'm just going to hit the I key with my mouse hovered over that rotation Z. Now what I'm going to do is click and drag here on the timeline and bring it over to frame 24. And then here on the Z value, I'm going to type in 10,000. So 10 with 3 zeros. And then I'll hover my mouse over the value and hit the I key to insert a keyframe. So now if I go back to the starting and then play this, you can see it rotates, but I want the rotation to be playing at the exact same speed between the starting and the ending. So if I hit the A key in the timeline, that's going to select the keyframes. And I'm going to hit the T key, and that's going to bring up the keyframe interpolation, and I'm going to change it to linear. This way it'll play at a consistent speed. So let's now just hit F12. So F12 is going to render the image. Let's just see what that's looking like. And so there's the motion blur, but it looks really weird right now. So I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to do a few things to make the motion blur look a bit better. So let's go here to the render properties, and I'm going to scroll down, and we're going to open up the motion blur. And here on the steps, I'm going to drag the steps to the very max of 64. So now if I hit F12 to render, the steps are just going to make it look a bit higher quality, and now you can see it's kind of spinning all the way around. Let's hit escape. Now also on this max blur, I'm going to drag the max blur all the way up to the very max, which is 512. So now if I press F12 to render the image again, it just looks a little bit more smooth. So now it definitely looks like it's spinning. So let's hit escape again. So now I just want to animate the second rotor blade. So we're going to do pretty much the same thing. So in the timeline, we're going to go to frame 1 or frame 0. And then what we're going to do is go here to the object data properties, and we're going to hover our mouse over the rotation and hit the I key. Now we're going to go over to just like frame 10, that's fine. On the rotation value, the rotation X, I'm going to type in 10,000 and then hit the I key with my mouse over that value. Then what I'm going to do is zoom over here in the timeline to the keyframes. I'm going to double tap A to make sure that all the keys are selected, and I'll hit T to change the interpolation, and I'll set it to linear, and this way it won't like slowly speed up and then slowly slow down. It's going to play at a consistent speed. Now it kind of looks like it's moving slowly, but that's actually because it's rotating so many times. It actually looks like it's rotating just like once between these frames. But now let's go back into the camera view, and I'll hit F12 to render the image, and we'll just see how that's looking. So there we go, now it's spinning around, and that's looking really cool. So let's hit the escape key again. So what I now want to do is add a bit of a depth of field. So let's just click right up here to select the camera. We'll go to the object data properties of the camera, and we're going to turn on depth of field. Now on the focus object, we're going to click on the eyedropper, and we're going to choose this cylinder here, which is the eye. And then what I can do is drag the f-stop around, and you can see if the f-stop is really small, things are going to be really blurred. So I'll just turn it up quite a bit more, maybe to like a 0.7 or something like that. So the background's a little bit blurred, maybe just turn it up a little bit more to a 0.8. So it's kind of blurred farther away, but then close up here, it's a bit more in focus. That might even be a bit too strong. So I'll maybe turn it up to like a 1. So that looks a little bit better. So let's now hit F12 to render the scene again, and then we're going to do some compositing. So let's click over here to go to the compositing workspace, and I'm going to click on new to add new compositing nodes. And what I first want to do is let's open up the asset shelf here. I want to take this vignette here. I want to drag and drop the vignette into the scene and then drop it here. And so let's just make this smaller again. So the vignette is going to add kind of a darkening around the corner of the image. Now I'm going to drag the factor down because that's definitely too strong. So drag that down, and then I think I'll turn the feather up just a little bit. That's a bit better. Then what I want to do is take the tune image from the asset shelf and just drop it here, and we'll drop it in above the vignette. And what I like to do is take the clarity and turn that to 0.1. and the detail to 0.1 and the sharpen to 0.1. So if you turn them all to like a 0.1, it just kind of sharpens the image and makes things look a bit more crisp. So if I just hit the M key, that's going to turn it off and turn it on with the tune image selected. So you can just see it makes the image a bit more crisp. Then what else I want to do is add a glare. So we'll hit Shift A for the add menu. I'm going to start to type in bloom, and we're going to add the glare bloom and put this at the very starting. And then here on the type or on the quality, I'm going to change this to high quality. So there's just a little bit of glare in some of the reflections, and that makes it look pretty cool. I might want to turn the strength down a little bit though, because I don't want it to be too strong. You could also like move the lights around. If you don't like where the glare is, you kind of move the right lights around. All right, and so there it is for the final image. So to save this image, we can click on image, and we're going to click on save as. And in my project files, I can just call this helicopter robot, and we'll just save the image. So I'll hit Control S to save the project, and so that's going to wrap it up for this part. So in the last part, in part 8, we're going to be doing the animation. So we're going to be animating the robot, rendering out the animation, and then video editing together and adding some sound effects. So when the next part is released, it'll be right up there on the end screen, and I'll have it linked in the video description. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the last part.